This is session 7 of the year that never was. I say that tentatively. I'm pretty sure it's issue 7, session 7.
I think so.
Rings a bell, yeah.
So, where are we? Last session, our heroes.
Bolstein House, is it?
Okay. So, at the last session, our heroes drove in their Mark III Cortina from London to Scotland. Passing Grunard Island, they stopped and entered the Eagle's Nest, where they had a chat with a computer, flooded a dome, trapping the terror within, knocked the terror out, and they, using the extended range teleportation platform, teleported it into deep space from where it came to the hollow moon of Mars. Pleased with themselves, they journeyed onward up to Boleskine House, which lays on the shores of Loch Ness. In the boot of their car was the watchmaker, who they'd found dead in London.
You make it sound so much worse than it really is.
Going into it was yeah. So you met with sorcerer.
No, it was necromancer.
And he agreed to bring watchmaker back from the dead. You had given him a whole list of stuff from the future that he could make lots of money out of and be successful as a reward, as payment.
Yeah, he's going to be a multi-millionaire investor.
Yeah, he is going to be Biff from Back to the Future. So, from the essential salts that he conjured, the watchmaker came back to life. And the end scene was the watchmaker saying, you essentially, you brought me back. How can I help you?
Ooh.
And that's it. Faded to black. And we opening scenes are the watchmaker having a bit of cough and asking for a glass of water. And the zombie butler of the necromancer has wandered off to get a glass of water. The watchmaker sits there.
Shambled off.
Shambled off. So he sits down to a chair and kind of waits for you to speak.
And just out of interest, at the death of last session, we heard, or somebody, whether it was all of us, heard some voice or other saying, "Help us."
Yes. From behind one of the walls, the walled up sections of Boleskine House.
Ah.
Okay. Do we know where it came from?
Roughly, and
I know the position of the wall or whatever it is, rather than.
Yeah. So you're in a cellar, and the far back wall, there is a series. There is a wall that looks slightly differently made, slightly differently built to the rest of the walls. It looks like it's got slightly different stones, and it's slightly newer.
I'm going to start tapping the wall.
Well, you remember, Mike.
Yeah.
So Diamond Geezer does remember from his time as a almost predominant superhero for a bit before his fall from grace, that there was an assault on Boleskine House in the 2000s. and there were rumours of something had been summoned by Aleister Crowley that remained in the in Boleskine House.
Was this a good something or a bad something?
You only got past the headlines. You thought it was clickbait. You didn't get. You just going, oh, yeah, that's nice, whatever. You just read that first opening sequence and didn't read any further. You could Google it, and oh no, you can't Google it.
No, it's a little bit before Google time, wasn't it?
Swipe
Yep.
at me.
Oh,
So-
you could
Curse you.
Encarta. You could Encarta it. No, not 1980. Another 5 years there.
No, there's no way I'm going to spend. Oh no, that'd be the. Right. I'm getting mixed up with sorry, the. What do we call it? The Britannica.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Okay, that's the fella. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 50-volume books. And
Yeah.
Carter was that CD that you got that had the internet on until, it didn't.
Well, you're in a cellar with watchmaker. Is that right?
Say again.
So
Where are we exactly?
you're in Scotland on the lake, on the shores of Loch Ness in a place called Boleskine House. You're in the cellar of Boleskine House. There's a summoning circle one side. It's a wizard's tower, should we say, but underground. And he's brought back the watchmaker to life. Some of you heard this voice from beyond the wall. So in with you in that cellar is you guys plus the watchmaker plus necromancer.
Okay.
Shambles.
Actually, the zombies come back and he's handed the watchmaker
Shambles the
a
butler.
drink.
Shambles the butler. Shambles the butler.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Great name.
And this
So,
someone said, "Help me from behind this wall."
yes, you heard. What have you heard? He helped me
That
from
sounds.
behind the wall.
That's a little alarming.
I'll look at the necromancer.
Yep.
And say, what's that?
I'd ignore it. It really bugs me sometimes, but you just ignore it. I tell it to turn the music up just to drown it out.
Are we going to go with this, guys, or are we just going to?
Well,
I-
I would tend
no,
to have
not
a
really.
conversation first, and if he says ignore it, let's ignore it. For now, anyway.
But who's behind the wall? She says, asking the necromancer.
I'm assuming he says. Well, I'm assuming it's one of Aleister Crowley's failed summonings. Could be some hideous demon trapped in a circle, waiting to lure some unexpected unexpected person to release them, and then suck their soul dry and drag them back to hell. I guess off the top of my head.
See, guys, I'm thinking there's a good reason it's behind that wall.
If I turn the music up, he turns the music up, and Human League start playing. Don't You Want Me, Baby? It's probably a bit early. Let's go with Kraftwerk. She's a model. Starts playing.
He's a demon.
You can see
looking good.
yes. To see, goes away, and they go quiet. It's fine. He giggles and says, "It's probably a shoggoth or something."
Yes.
But by all means, if you want to open the wall, I would need to step out, rather not be here. Don't want to get sucked into oblivion, into a netherworld dimension that could kill me.
Who are you? About us?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you'd go first, but I don't want to be dragged into the hellish otherworld because your curiosity got the better of you. I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying I'd rather be out of the room when that happens.
I'm with you on that.
Mr. Watchmaker, have you got anything to say on the subject of voices behind the wall?
Where's that water?
Yeah. He drinks the water. He goes, well, yes, we know who's there. It's and have done since 1909, 1910, when Crowley drew them back from the past. It's the danger is releasing them.
Who? Or what?
So, as the story goes, as Aleister Crowley used to tell it, he was attempting to summon Thelema from the past. However, as everyone knows, Thelema's made up and doesn't actually exist. But what he managed to do was summon the 5 great druids of the Celtic era. And in doing so, he set off a chain of events that released Morgan Le Fay and her son to do the nefarious things that they did. So it's Mervyn, Taliesin, Blaze, Hengist, and the other one called Blaze, Hengist, and the 5th druid whose name escapes me. 5 famous druids from Celtic myth, part of a council of druids, and they're trapped there. And they have been for 60 years, 1980 to 20 years, 60 years. Pretty sure they're going to be quite annoyed at anyone, everyone, given where they are.
Okay.
See, there's anything to do with our mission. We need to get back to our time, don't we?
Yes, fair comment.
How are you feeling, by the way? He says to watch me.
Like I've been murdered.
Yes, well, we've gone to a fair bit of trouble to bring you back.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news. I don't like getting murdered.
You
affects the constitution.
I appreciate that. Are you aware who did kill you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Who was it? Passing.
Well, you might know him as Chameleon.
Oh.
He has another name. He has many names. It's possible he is either one of Urien's ravens or one of Odin's ravens.
Blimey. Haven't we
killed you?
Haven't we? Haven't we met one of that character before?
You have.
Yeah, I have. Okay.
And at which point you might want to sit down for this.
Go on.
So he says he goes by another name that very few people know, but he's actually he's taken over the Honourable Quinton Forbes Bryson, MP.
That's who he is today.
Yes, that's his. That's
his host.
Yeah, no, I suspect he's killed the real Forbes Bryson and taken over Forbes Bryson as a persona for whatever reason. I have no idea.
That was that politician, wasn't it?
He's the Prime Minister.
Yes,
yeah.
he's currently the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Prime Minister. Remember, I'm not of this world.
Oh, yes.
Well, think
Yeah, he's currently the
actual
Prime Minister
news
that has
report.
set. He's set the future. So he's got England is now in a fascist state, and under martial law, because Forbes Bryson has taken over.
Okay, we need to do something about Mr. Bryson then.
Well, this is where we ask the watchmaker for a favour first, I think, Terry.
Yeah.
Yes.
What favour would you like?
We were tasked with gaining passage to the Kestrel verse, and we understand that you might be able to facilitate such a passage.
Yes, I can. I can travel between dimensions as my ability, shall we say?
And we were
But I can't go back and forth in time. But I can take you to the Kestrel verse.
at which point we are obliged to find somebody living over there that may be able to return us to our own timeline.
Tachyon.
Ooh. I didn't realise you were aware of him.
Yeah. Tachyon. Yes. I'm aware of the Kestrels. I obviously have this power that I've used and have travelled between dimensions.
Ah.
It's not a precise science. I'm pretty good at getting the right dimension, but occasionally you step into the wrong one by mistake, but no harm generally happens.
Okay, we'll just hope that you get us close enough then. Thank you.
Okay, I can take you to Canary Wharf, where the Kestrels have the Kestrel's nest at the top of the Canary Wharf building, or what is the Canary Wharf building in the UK. So you'll know it's the Kestrel verse because their moon is split in two. Because in their timeline, in the 50s, the Americans dropped a nuclear bomb on the moon to show how big and powerful they were against the Russians. Only it broke the moon in two. It's still got the same orbit. The gravity is keeping it is keeping it together, but there's a 2-mile gap between the two halves, as so it does look a bit odd as it flies around the Earth.
Wow. That could be quite a sight.
Oh.
Yeah. So when you're ready, I will take you to the Kestrel verse. Just need a nice cup of tea before we go.
Okay.
I'm sure that
So I don't know if there's anything you'd like to do beforehand.
Can I just ask, while we've been having this conversation, has there been a constant help me from
The music is drowning out. There's music is drowning out the voice, but it's there in the background.
Yes, it's quite unnerving. Yeah, I don't.
Once you realise it again, the necromancer goes to his chest of drawers, pulls out a cassette, puts the cassette in, plays, and it's the Beatles' "Help" on loop. And at which point you start losing the helps. They kind of blend in with the song. He says, "Oh, that's better. I'd forgotten about that."
Okay. Well, I suppose it isn't really our problem.
Yes, that's my feeling. I can't see how there can be any link to our mission, and we'd just be opening up a can of worms. It's potentially.
Before you go to the Kestrelverse, do you want to go back down at Bristol and get the nuclear bomb?
It might help.
I knew we should have brought it.
What do we need that for?
We talked ourselves out of getting the bloody bomb first time.
Well, yes, but because
It's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, but it's a nuke. Think of all the fun. Think of all the fun. I mean, all of the things we can do with it. With saving.
right.
You know, as Mercury Man can fly, Mercury Man could fly over 10 Downing Street, drop it, and that solves your issue with the supervillain who's now the Prime Minister. I mean, that is using a sledgehammer to crack an egg, but even so,
There's a bit of collateral damage there, isn't there?
And the fact that Forbes Bryson isn't in 10 Downing Street 43 years in the past.
no, but you would take the bomb to the future. Tachyon, could you just, send us forward in time? Never mind this. This is just a carry-on. It's just a carry-on.
Carry on nukes.
I know it's oozing. I know it's oozing radiation, but it's just a carry-on.
Carry on.
Ignore it. This is not the bomb you're looking for.
Carry on bombing.
Yeah.
So, you guys really want this bomb, huh?
Well, seeing the GM keeps making a comment about it, I think it's probably a good idea. You think about it. We decided diplomatically and whatever, we didn't need the nuke, but we keep getting hints that we should have the nuke. So I think we did.
No, it's not a hint. It's just I keep remembering it's there, and it's just be quite funny to have you guys with a nuke in the boot of the car.
Now he's playing Now he's playing mind games with us. So I think we need the nuke.
Thus is ever the role of the referee, playing mind games.
Well, I quite like driving that old machine of yours.
Sorry,
it would take you 48 hours to drive down to Bristol, get the nuke, and come back up again. It's a 7-hour drive from Crawley to Glasgow, an 11-hour drive from Crawley to Inverness, to give you a rough idea.
I haven't got me
Bristol's so.
Okay.
I had my phone with me. I could have told you instantly how long it would have taken.
Mm-hmm.
And you,
So we're thinking of doing a drive around the NC 500. So I looked at the timings today. So yeah. So obviously dependent on traffic.
Yeah. Would it be cheeky to ask?
Lee can only take us through time. Is it time or
Dimensions?
He can't take us through dimensions. He can't take us physically place.
But you could ask him.
I'd be able to. I mean, if you can do dimensions.
If you ask him, you might find a solution.
Crossing dimensions is a way of traversing space, so he may be able to nip us down to Bristol.
Yeah. Mr. Watchman, are you...
Watchmaker.
Yes, watchmaker.
We don't suppose you'd be able to hitch us a lift to... what was it? The name of that human city?
Bristol.
Yeah. I'll give him
Bristol Temple Mead.
I'll give him the address. I'll give him the address of my lockup.
Yes, I can take you to Tower of Jezreel, and from there you'll be able to take a Mirror of Shalott. I'm sure there's one close by,
Oh, we've heard about those, but they don't work
and
where
then
we come
return.
from.
Oh, they're fully up and running here, as long as you know where they are. In Bristol Temple Meads, I believe there is kind of, you see his eyes closed, and they kind of, you're trying to remember. Yes, there is one there.
Oh,
Sounds like a plan.
And he gives you the address.
Yep, let's go.
yeah. Would it be an imposition to ask you to help us in this regard? If it's a choice between getting to the Kestrel verse, then that's more important. But
Yes, I mean, obviously, I need to go back to London, and I can assist you on the way. And then whatever you're going to do in Bristol, I can then take you. I can then facilitate a trip to the Kestrelverse.
That would be
Yep.
terrific.
Sounds like a plan.
you'd be
It
in your
sounds
bed.
like a bang up plan.
So he whispers something to Necromancer. Necromancer steps back, and he conjures a dimensional door,
Mhm.
and waves you through.
Okie dokie. Let's hope it isn't a disintegration chamber.
I put my left foot in.
There's nothing.
See, you all step through, and each of you fall to your hands and knees and vomit violently. You feel dizzy. You are disorientated. You can hear him step through and say, "One more step, and we're there." He conjures up another door, and you have to drag yourself through that door, and then you find yourselves in this 1960s building.
Okay.
He says, "Apologise for that. That's the only way I can get to Jezreel's Tower. That was the flat Earth dimension. And the reason why you were violently sick is because obviously Earth travels at about 1,000 miles an hour. It spins very fast. It doesn't spin on the flat Earth. So without that centrifugal force, your inner ear almost collapses and you're violently sick because we find that not that many people can actually traverse to the flat Earth without feeling sick, but it's the only way to get to Jezreel Tower.
Ultimate in motion sickness.
Yes, it's almost reverse motion sickness. We are so used to spinning. You're so used to spinning around the sun at 1,000. Well, spinning around Earth at 1,000 miles an hour or something. When you stop that, your body is so used to spinning in that you're finally sick. So you're now standing in a 1960s building
Is it my lockup?
in a ghost plane.
Okay.
No, this is Jezreel's Tower. Jezreel Bell's
Okay.
Tower. The crazy cult in East London that built a tower.
West London.
Really crazy. West London. And this tower exists in this ghost dimension. I'll try and get a picture of this Jezreel's.
Yeah, something like Jezrael, something like that.
Yeah, crazy cultists. Jezebel. Let's go with that one.
Jezreel's Tower.
Yeah.
What's it called? Jezreel. Just was.
Jezreel, I think. If it's, I'm going to post what a picture I found.
Jezreels, yeah.
Jez-
Jezreels. Jezreels.
Jezreel in Gillingham, Kent.
There you go.
Yeah. You got You put that into the general. What's it called? General.
In the Discord masks chat, actually, it should have been in general.
Looks because it's that built by
That's it.
cultists, was it?
Yeah, crazy religious nutters. Bulldozed. Doesn't no longer exist. It bulldozed not that long ago. But anyway, so this is the way station because it's a crazy building. There are a series of mirrors inside. You look through the windows, which are open, and you notice in that plane of grey mist two things. There is a farmstead further up, which consists of 5 barns. So 4 barns, a house, and a little distance away there's a raised mound with a tower. To your right-hand side, there is a building that has collapsed on its side. It looks almost like a hut. Beneath the hut are 2 large chicken legs.
Oh shit, it's Baba Yaga.
It is, isn't it?
And every now and then, one of the chicken legs' toes occasionally moves slightly.
Okay, so this is only a waypoint, isn't it? We're only staying here until.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you essentially it's a plane of doors, should we say? It's just the mechanism to go places. There are many mirrors in this place. I know some of them, but not all.
Let's not go outside.
I know the way to the.
Let's not.
Yeah, no,
let's not go outside and kick the man's dog, okay? We've all seen what happens when you when you harm a man's dog, right? Especially someone called Baba Yaga.
Yes. Yeah. Why they call him Baba Yaga? That makes there's no logic to that.
That's what gets me. Anyway. People ask about, who's the biggest villain in John Wick? It's the guy that killed the dog. If you think about it, he's the one that set off in the events that killed 500 people. Which is how many people Mr. Wick killed in all 4 films.
As you do. There's a new series coming. There's in the world of John Wick. Peacock have got something.
They're doing a 3-part series on the Continental. It's how the film was. It's set in the 1970s. I think they're also doing something based on the ballerina.
Okay, I haven't seen the films, but so as the watchmaker is going to each of the mirrors, and you see him, he's rubbing his hand. He's got his hand on his temple, and he's rubbing his hand slightly down the mirror. And he's going to each one, double checking. You glance out, and you can see in the distance by the farm a shape move. Looks like it's dragging something down towards the farm. And he says, as you see that, he goes, "I found it."
Okay.
Okay.
So,
are we ready?
Dragging something to our car?
No, it's just dragging something to the barn.
Oh, is that into the barn? Is that the barn with the chicken legs, or?
No, completely different barn. This is the farm, as opposed to the
hut.
Hut.
No, I'm ready to go. Not taking any chances.
Me too.
So
I just want to have a look.
You're going to have a look at what
Try and see what it's dragging.
It looks like it's dragging. As you look closer into the mists, it looks like it is a number of wolves dragging a horse.
Horse is going, nay, I won't go.
I don't like the look of that one. Right, are we ready?
Yeah.
As you step into the dimensional door, and you all come out on a platform in Bristol Templemead Station.
Ooh.
including.
Okay.
Including the watchmaker.
Right.
So
Oh.
you know that the arches below Templemead Station to the far left, on the western junction, that is where your lockup
Right.
is.
I bury my hands in my trench coat's pockets and say, "Follow me, lads." Walk off because I know where I'm going to my lockup.
It's
Okie dokie.
very impressive. Thank you, Watchmaker.
Very much so.
You should get to grips with the mirrors of Shalott. They're very, very useful. Very useful. Very useful.
Yeah.
Interesting story regarding the mirrors of Shalott.
Hey, you feel free to fill us in while we're following Terry.
So he starts telling you about. You've read the Tennyson
Yeah.
poem, haven't you? Well, that's kind of where they got their name from. And there we go. Just trying to find my notes on the mirrors of Shalott.
What is
So
it? And what is a poem?
So the Lady of Shalott in Tennyson's poem, she's trapped in a room and she can see through a mirror, and she can see Camelot, and she falls in love with Lancelot,
Yeah.
I believe. So Lancelot, it says, was born in the lost kingdom of Benoek to Bran, and Bran. For some reason, the Celts called him Bran, but he is in fact Dionysus, raised and brought up in the fairy realm by the Lady of the Lake. The Benoek is are the Mirror Lands. Which exist, a dimension which exists between worlds, in the folds of time and space, a shadow between the stars. The mirrors simply allow travel between 2 points. The mirrors each have a twin, which actually have which actually have space folded between them, portals through the mirror lands. Be careful not to get trapped in the mirror lands, otherwise Dionysus might be unhappy.
Trespassing then.
This all we need to do is go to the this was discovered in the Hermes Trismegistus.
Trismegistus.
Yeah, that's the one. The version that Newton had. It was Newton that discovered this link to Dionysus's realm through that book.
Ooh.
There's murmurings that, below the Anatolia region of Turkey, there is a great city, and it's believed at the bottom of that city, in the depths of the earth, the Orphoric Dionysus mystery cult summon and dwell, and these guys are quite evil. Evil is probably the wrong word, but these guys wish to bring Lancelot back from the dead so they can reclaim the Mirror Lands and the Mirror Dimension. But they'll never find him. They'll never find him. Because for that to happen, they need... what's his name? They need Joseph. Joseph Carter Phileas.
Never heard of him.
And Joseph Carter Phileas is not on Earth. Joseph Carter Phileas is also known as the Wandering Jew,
Okay.
Blimey.
And
who is the last of the first men, one of the oldest beings on Earth, although currently he's not on Earth. The being that claims he is, Al-Masih Ad-Daji, is nothing but an ancient jinn.
Okay.
So there is supposed to be a one of his tombs, or a potential tomb for Carter Phileas, in Derinkuyu, which is that giant city below Turkey.
Gosh.
But it is not there. Yep. Derinkuyu. No, Derinkuyu.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the way at the bottom. So at this moment in time, Göbekli Tepe and the other temples that exist within Anatolia, you don't know. You know about, but Watchmaker doesn't know about because they haven't been discovered yet.
Mm. Wow, that is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
That may or may not come into play if I ever get around to finishing the Mirrors of Shalott game. But anyway, so while he's rambling about this kind of stuff, and you find yourselves actually standing outside of a lockup, below the west junction of Bristol Temple Meads.
Right.
Mike.
We'll look
So-
to.
So Mike's had to step out. So the Bristol Temple Meads is a train station, and there are a series of classic arches. Majority of them have doors on and are used as lockups. Diamond Geezer has a number of lockups throughout South Coast, which he used to use when he was a bit more of a superhero, to have cars and equipment in. So he has the key to a lockup. However, at this time in 1980, it's not his lockup, but the key should still work because he took the lockup on in maybe the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh well, no harm in trying.
But so he knows. So you're at lockup 10 for argument's sake. So either 9 or 8. No, number 10. 9 or 11 is where the nuclear bomb is.
Well,
So you've got to break into one of the other ones, or simply go into his lockup and burn a hole through the wall.
but if this is before it's his lockup, we wouldn't expect the bomb to be there, right?
No, the bomb's been there since the 50s.
Ah,
So the bomb's been there for a long time because the guy in the Black Museum, whose name escapes me, the solo chap, he told you about the DCI
down,
chambers.
that's it. Well done.
Yeah, DCI chambers. It told you where what the overriding theory was and where it was.
Right. Okay. What sort of time of day is it? Is it dark or light? And what is there much activity around? Do we need to keep a low profile and sus?
It's late afternoon. There's some. You're maybe an hour past rush hour, so you're okay for
Right, back again.
time.
Oh,
It is quiet.
is that your
Looks
lockup?
like it, yeah. I think. Is it?
So yes and no. So it is your lockup, but you don't take charge of it until the late 90s, early 2000s. So you're pretty sure the key's going to
Well,
work,
we don't want to get into
but
my lockup.
none of your
We
stuff's
want
going to
get
be
into
in
the one that's next to it.
it. So you know it's number 10. So the nuclear bomb is either going to be in number 9
Yeah.
or number 11.
So, has our cosmic friend here got any way of detecting radiation?
I don't know. Has Mercury Man?
Not as far as I'm aware.
No.
But what Mercury Man can do is manipulate his body
Right.
shape, so possibly squeeze under the door and open the door from the inside.
There's enough space.
Yeah, these are it's a Victorian building, so the doors are going to be 100 years old,
I mean,
and they're going to be worn. They're not going to be that well looked at. I mean, you don't get the Bristol Mews Station wasn't done up until much later.
do we need to be?
In fact, you need to get the nuclear bomb. So the nuclear.
Yeah.
So you could go in and unlock it from the inside, or simply just kick in the door because you don't know which one it is.
Okay. If I can get in, I'll do so and unlock the door from inside.
Yep. So you have got you've got shapeshift.
Yes, I've got stretch.
So you could stretch your hand underneath and have a go at unlocking from the other side or unlatching. So which door are you going to do? Number 11 or number 9?
I'll start with 9.
9. Squeeze your hand under the door, and as you come up, you get a sense of your hand being at a right angle, so you know roughly where you are because you visually can't see. And you start fumbling around, and then you find what appears to be a door hand or a kind of a latch, which you pull down on, and the door opens. You draw your hand, and there's a creak as the door slides open. Inside, it's like a large, arched lockup. There's a variety of tools, benches on the side. In the centre, there is a large crate, half covered with tarpaulin.
After you.
Who wishes to go first?
It's my neighbour's lockup, so I feel I should know. You know.
So inside, as I described, there's some tool benches. At the far back, there is a classic Jaguar XJK, XJS, XJL, XJ. The one that was in it that Morse drives. So it's the classic Jag that's always appears in the Sweeney.
No,
I'm having that. I mean, if we're nicking the bomb, we might as well take the Jag while we're at it.
Difficult to carry a Jag through the mirror shallot.
XJ what?
XJ XJS XJ forgotten.
It's all right. X-rays. Something.
It's Morse's code.
No, it's not. It's now mine. I'm having it.
Let's check what.
Okay.
Oh, it's just called a Mark II because it became the XJ, didn't it? Yes, it's a Mark. It's just a Mark II Jag. Quite a tasty looking vehicle. There is a version that's been. I've seen one that's been deseamed and updated, and not doesn't. It looks nice and modern, but doesn't. I don't quite like it. But this they kind of stick around when it became the XJS. But anyway, it's one of those. It's burgundy. And for argument's sake, we'll say it is the 248 RPA, which is Morse's car. And in front of that is a large crate, which you believe could possibly be a nuclear bomb.
Let me take a look. I'll try and pry the.
So inside is a nuclear rocket, big enough for two of you to carry.
Well done, Vlad.
I need to. I think this could be it.
Yeah, there's American numbers on the side, and there'll be a little nuclear symbol.
Does the is the rocket fueled?
Yes.
Okay. Can we separate the nose cone from the actual rocket?
If you were nuclear scientists,
It's
yes.
not actually.
Well, Vlad is a brilliant mechanical scientist. Vlad?
Who is?
Yeah.
Vlad?
Golden Heroes covers a wide range of topics in the phrase brilliant scientist, but he has got mechanical.
It's not messing with the actual
Oh.
warhead. It's just separating the warhead from the rest of the rocket.
So I will say you can have a go at doing this. So make a roll a d20 and tell me what you get.
Go on, Mercury Man.
6. What was your where's that gone? What was your skill in it?
High. That was a bad roll.
I don't know. It depends how you look at it. It's under your ego. There isn't really I don't think there's a mechanism for rolling brilliant scientist skills. But
No. Your cache starts with an initial material resource level of 8. So you are an alien. Let's go with 8 plus. So that's rich industrialist. It's a bit vague, isn't it? It's not. So I'm going to say yes. You are an alien, and this is a rather crude rocket that is centuries away from where you are. This is the kind of stuff you got learnt at kindergarten, and it's very simple just to remove the warhead.
Yeah, they made some mistakes in the construction of this.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you can do to increase the yield 1,000-fold by moving the atoms to the left and rotating them counterclockwise. You can turn this from a little fizz bang nuclear bomb to a 1,000 TNT.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I'm just going to give 1,000 TNT value of a much bigger bomb, if you so wished.
well, thanks for that, Vlad.
Yes.
We'll just leave it as it is for the time being, though, eh?
How big is the quite?
So you can put in a carrier bag for ease of travel. So if anyone's got a backpack, the nuclear
Hey, if
warhead.
this is
It's not that big.
1960s,
Could
that
fit in
makes that the first
a
backpack
backpack.
nuke.
It is. The amount of dust on it. It really is a dirty bomb.
Shut up. I thought I told a good joke, and then Kevin
Yes, I killed it.
Kevin just quietly comes along and
You've been
demolishes.
waiting.
So you
Backpack
now
nuke.
have backpack nuke. If any of you got backpacks or a handbag or
Well, I can definitely
satchel.
say I've got a handbag.
Otherwise, you can look around the lockup, and inside there'll be a knapsack. You can take a classic webbing knapsack.
I think that's got your name on it, Terry.
And I need to edit that. Yeah.
So, Watchmaker saying, we came all this way for you to get a
You
nuclear
never know when it
bomb.
comes in handy.
I guess. Okay.
We kind of think
I
like,
can. Let me get you over to the Kestrelverse as soon as possible, because
Yeah.
I'd rather not know there's a nuclear bomb here.
All right. It's not like we'll be off then. Like the bomb.
So he weaves a large door for you to step through. He says, "Oh, if you happen to see and kill Chameleon, Forbes Bryson, say hi from me
Will do.
before you do that."
You can count on it.
um,
And thank you very much for your help.
well,
No
hopefully
problem.
he's going to help us a little more shortly. Did you say?
Yeah, so he's conjured up a door to the Kestrelverse
Oh, I see.
in the within the lockup.
I see. Did you say that the door squeaked when we came in?
So yeah, the front door squeaked because
Is
it
there-
obviously hadn't been open for a while.
Yep, time to get going.
Are there any,
Sorry.
are there any oil canisters about?
Yes.
Yeah, Mercury Man's a little OCD and he will like oil the hinges just before.
All the
Oh.
hinges and shut the door, and
Yeah.
so he does a Doctor Strange, opens a doorway to somewhere, and you step through. As you turn back, you can see he waves and opens another doorway and steps through that, and then you are in a dark room, and you realise you're actually in the lockup, but possibly in another dimension. But you're in the same
Okay.
place.
Right. I will go to the door if it's in the same place. And
Open the door. It's dark outside. You look up into the sky to see a large broken
But more
moon.
importantly, Ref, does the door squeak?
Yep.
Well, if it's dark in here,
No.
I've got some light that we could turn on. Yeah.
I've got a nuclear powered
I've
torch.
got a bucket of instant sunshine. Yeah.
It's a one shot, but
It's a flash in the pan.
you only live once.
I've got a flashbang if anybody needs
Do you
it.
find yourselves?
Well, they weren't lying about the moon.
Yeah. See, you're on another dimension with a nuclear bomb and a name and a
You
location.
better get off then.
Canary Wharf, here we
better
come.
go off. We better go off. It'll be a blast.
So the Kestrelverse,
is it just us, or did?
He didn't come with you. He went somewhere else.
I would have thanked him before
So-
leaving.
I did, so don't feel too bad about it.
All right, he duck and covered.
Yeah, he didn't want to know us after we got the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Okay.
So Kestrelverse, where next, guys?
So you know the Kestrel's nest is sitting on top of Canary Wharf, or what is Canary Wharf in the UK, in your universe.
Okay then. So we'll get in the
That's where
car
we're
and off we
heading.
go
So,
then.
so we're at the same point in time, but in a different
Dimension.
Well, we're certainly
Yes.
at the same point in space.
Uh,
I'm assuming we're at the same point in time because Watchmaker doesn't have any time travel abilities. But you never know.
Yeah, you're in 1980 in the
Okay.
same year, in a different dimension. The big difference is the 1980 in the Eagleverse flips back and continues. If you're in there, you can't get out because there's a time loop. As you have left, the time loop was linked to you because you had taken over from the Nightmare Queen because it was linked to her.
Yeah, I'm following.
So you've no idea what effect that's going to have on the Eagleverse. Whether it just it folds back in and everything comes back to normal, and nobody notices, or people start remembering the 1980. You have no idea, but you have left, and there's nothing of your timeline that you left there. You took things with you, but you haven't left anything there.
Right.
So you're in the lockup, and there are two things to note. There is a Mark II Jag, but there is no nuclear bomb.
Now hang on a minute. What about the one we brought over? Did we bring it with us? We still got it?
No,
Yeah.
you couldn't get. You got the bomb with you, but the crate in the center of this, it doesn't exist.
Right.
There's no bomb in that crate.
Right. Yeah,
There's
because
no
the
crate
last
there.
thing you want to do is
Oh,
give us
okay.
2 nuclear weapons, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in case you drop one, it's always handy
It's
to have a
the first one
spare.
doesn't go.
Well,
Well, I'll
hey, the cost.
as I say, I'll drop the rucksack with the nuke in the boot.
Well, the nuke is of a size that Mercury Man kind of looks at it and thinks, if you were to change your shape, you could create in your stomach area a void in which you could house a nuclear weapon and carry it undetected, rather than carrying
It's
a
more
bag.
fun to cruise around in a Jag with a nuke in the boot. Yeah.
Tesco's bag.
Do they even
It's
have
possibly
to?
an option
Yeah.
for future, Vlad, but I would be a bit concerned in case you were carrying it in your chest cavity and got hit by something.
Oh, to be honest,
Yeah.
It would be
if
bad.
that was to set it off,
But
that would be the least of our worries.
True.
it's giving
No,
me terrible
I've got
trots.
indigestion.
Oh,
Hang on a minute. No!
get out. That's it.
Well, I don't know. It wouldn't be the least of my worries, but
It'll be all right in a
yeah.
flash.
Just the once.
We're superheroes.
Yeah, this is what you do: carry nukes around
Yeah,
from
fair enough.
other dimensions. Yeah, it's
Oh.
it's as they say in the game De Rigueur. So you are in below Bristol Tupplemead Station. There is a Jag. It's a 2.5 hour drive to Canary Wharf.
As a great poet used to say, fire up the Jag.
None of you got dark glass. None of you got dark glasses.
And I'm hoping there's more than half a tank of fuel.
Well, I'm
Well,
looking.
yeah, it's 3-star. No, it's not going to be 4-star in this thing, isn't it?
This is a very nice vehicle.
B.
Who's driving?
There was never any doubt about that.
No. Don't scratch the paintwork
go.
when you get in.
So you just have to open the main doors
There's a
and drive the Jag out. You've gone from a van to a Mark III Cortina to a Mark II
Get
Jag.
on the M1 and open up the taps on this one.
So there's no M25 at the
Ozzy
moment.
Osbourne's
Don't.
still building
So
it.
yeah, the universe, England is a very modern England. It's almost as if you've got a 2020 England that's been transported back to 1980. So everything looks familiar, but more advanced. You know, you're hearing you're seeing electric cars.
Better not be.
No, the Jag is full petrol, but it's like you've gone to a near future
It's
past. That makes sense.
technology is advanced to what the actual year is.
So it's like people in the 80s have decided have future gazed and created what they think. So it's flying cars and whatnot. It's almost recognizable, but not quite. Some of the clothes people are wearing are slightly odd. You know you're in a different place.
Yeah.
It's like walking through the lanes in Brighton. You're in a different world. So you are going to drive from Bristol Temple Meads to the Kestrel. The Kestrel's Nest, which is, as I said, Canary Wharf.
Yeah,
about 2.5 hour drive.
With a stop every 10 minutes to refuel a tank.
You got our fuel.
Put the radio.
And music that you kind of, the Beatles are still around, but the Beatles are now doing hip hop. So it's their new Yo Pepper's sequel to Sergeant Pepper. This is Yo Pepper.
I thought if it's the punk era,
and
it'd be Yo Motherfucker. But...
So, well, 80s. So it's post punk. It's techno. So
yeah,
it's the music's jarring. Paul McCartney doing techno, and the other one, yeah, scratching. It's weird. It's like, it's not quite right. You can sense you're in a different place. Really sense you're in a different place. It's really jarring. The odd town is called different things. It's just not. Yeah, it's almost. It's weird. It's really weird. It is really jarring to the senses. You're seeing things that are.
Yeah.
You get on the M3 eventually, and it's smooth. There's no cars in the M3. It's really quiet.
But
really jarring.
I'm sure God will be like, I don't know what you mean. It seems exactly the same to me.
Yes. Yeah, you're not going to notice the difference, really. It's everything is just as it all blends into one. The minute detail is not there for you.
Yeah.
Whereas the other two looking at ooh, loafers and tracksuit bottoms. That no.
Exactly.
Mullets and I can't think of another fashion faux pas. Cardigans, no. So yeah, you make your way up to London with that oddity, and after several hours of on the motorway, you don't see much, but you stop at a service station, and you realise that the money's different. It's got the king's head on. But then you look and you go, well, that's right, but that's wrong because we're in 1980. So obviously the Queen in this universe died earlier, and Charles took over earlier. So it's Charles and Diana are the no, that's 82, isn't it? So still Charles in 1918. Yeah, it's just a bit odd. Once you make your way through London, no congestion charge. Lots of electric cars. You seem to be the only gas-powered car on the road that you've noticed.
What do you mean?
Pulling into Canary Wharf has a park, a stone park. I can't remember the name of it. But you pull into Canary. So down from Bristol, here we go. You park in the Isle of Dogs. Make your way through Churchill Plaza, heading towards Canary Wharf itself. Standing at the base of the giant tower, what are you going to do? A top is no longer a pyramid, but a dome.
Like a giant bullet. Look for anything that gives the game away that the Eagles are in residence. Anna.
Kestrels.
Is it the glass dome?
It is a glass dome. It looks very reminiscent of the domes that were over the Kestrel's Nest domes.
And is there a landing pad of some sort up at the top?
Possibly. You think that maybe you could... there is an object that you have that might get you in, given that the Eagles version gets you into the Eagle's Nest. I believe you took the Kestrel flight ring. Who is wearing it? Now, the Eagle flight rings will take you up there, but only the Kestrel flight ring will get you in.
I'll say that I had it. It's something that Sally probably would have done.
I don't think I have it, yeah. But obviously, I could fly us up there as well.
We've got the rings.
All of you can fly at flight 1. Yeah, you've got the Eagle flight rings.
We had a little play with them in the Eagle's Nest before we left.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to.
That's right.
So we're all right on that score.
Well, should we just fly up there, guys? Get on that pad there and see if we can get their attention.
Well, is there anything on the ground level, Ref, that looks like a scanner or?
No, just it's
right,
that
fair enough. Okay.
It's that top section. So the Kestrel Nest is that top section where the building goes up and it comes in a bit and then takes that like there's a pyramid, but there's several floors just below the pyramid, just above the tower, and that is the Kestrel's Nest. So the first question is, the nuclear bomb that is in the boot of the Jaguar, are you going to leave it in the Jaguar in the car park, or are you going to take it with you?
I think now I can internalize it. Got no quarrel with it. I don't think we're going to be getting into a fight. So for safekeeping, I'll if you guys
I'll just keep my
agree.
fingers crossed.
Yep. So I'll grab.
It will be fine.
I don't expect any trouble, but there's a great history in comic books of this sort of thing happening.
Yeah, be fine. Be fine. Could possibly go wrong. So, whilst I dig out the names of the kestrels, so you make your way. You begin to fly up with the nuclear bomb in your chest, the nuclear warhead in your chest. Sorry, and you fly up above the great dome of the kestrel nest. There we go. And you see that it is very, very, very reminiscent of one of the domes that sits over the eagle's nest.
Strange how similarities transfer through dimensions, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, Kevin, I didn't quite catch that. Can you say?
So the dome, rather than the pyramid that's on top of the Canary Wharf building, looks identical to the domes that are over the kestrel's nest. So the eagle's nest under the sea.
Ah,
So therefore, you think they're gonna work in a similar way, that you kind of activate the ring, it opens up, you be able to fly in.
and maybe even made by the same people.
Possibly.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, let's see what happens. I hesitate to say I'll wave me ring at the dome, but we'll see what happens.
You activate in a similar way to you activated the eagle's nest by simply kind of clenching your fist and thinking fly, whatever, simply using the word open in your mind. A section opens, so it's like you're looking down at the O2 arena in where the air vent is. So it's one big dome, and then suddenly it kind of opens up, and on one side, like an iris opens up. You fly into the iris, into a kind of a circular room, and the iris closes behind you.
Lovely jubbly.
Wow, that's pretty decent technology, and I know.
Standing in this room, in addition to you three, are two people. They look quite young and are wearing classic 80s superhero outfits. They take a defensive stance and say, "Who the hell are you? And how did you get in
It's
here?"
all right. We don't mean any harm. We are friendlies. We have kestrel rings.
How did you get the kestrel ring?
We've just come from the Eagle verse.
What have you done with the real kestrels?
Aren't you the real kestrels?
Yeah, no. He shakes his head and says, "No, the away team. What have you done with the away team?"
We haven't done anything with anybody. I don't know what you're talking about, away team, but we haven't done anything to them. We don't know them. Slithering.
As you're talking to the one chap, the other one's tapping away on her arm, and she says, "He's got John Ball's kestrel flight ring." So he lowers his stance slightly, and he says, "You're from the..."
That's correct.
The Eagleverse. We've lost
Where were
contact
they?
with the
Where
kestrels.
did you lose contact?
They were heading to your universe. They were looking for an anomaly in 1856.
Do you know what they were looking for? Say anomaly, what type?
something or someone or someones were being thrown through time and causing ripples. Tachyon had detected them using the key of time.
Okay.
We haven't used the key to time.
What did you do with the Antikythera device that was in the Kestrel's,
Well,
the
we've
Eagle's
definitely
nest?
got it, but we haven't used it.
It's in the boot of the motor,
Right.
isn't it? Along with all the other gear.
In another
along with all the other
knapsack.
gear.
In another knapsack. So she says, Aegis, Gorton, Longbow, Lady Beast Scorpion, the Pict, and Tachyon, as far as we can tell, are trapped in 1856 in your world.
Okay. So now we need to get to 1856.
Well, hang on.
It is now.
Is that our mission?
Wait, did you say Tachyon's there?
What? Tachyon, yes. Tachyon, the wielder of the key of
Oh.
time.
Blimey neck.
Ah.
She says that we've got no means of traveling back in time in this universe. Tachyon was the only being that was able to do that.
But you said your team is stuck in 1856 in, let me get this right, our universe.
Yes, they went hunting for what they called the Shadow 5 team.
Now, you see our dilemma. Go on.
We had contact with a watchmaker who told us that they are trapped or were last seen in a mirror in Trevethic's workshop in 1856. That's the last record that he could find when he traversed into the Eagleverse.
Trevithick, the railway engineer.
Yes, Trevethic's workshop is behind the Merthyr Tydfil Polytechnic College in Merthyr Tydfil.
I think it's time we explained what we're doing here. We were trapped in
Okay.
trapped
what are you
in
doing
an
here?
alternate timeline, stuck in 1980. It wasn't the Eagleverse per se, unless you argue that it was 1980 in the Eagleverse, but it had been time locked and it was different than 1980 should have been. But anyway, other than that, we were sent here to the Kestrelverse by the watchmaker to find,
By the watchmaker or
I'm
a
assuming
watchmaker, she
a
says.
watchmaker, but don't quote me on that. I don't know how many there are.
Okay. In general, there's one in each universe. In general, some have died. Some have had to be put down.
This chap was dead, and then we managed to find someone to bring him back to life. But that's another story. Now, we need to find your Tachyon, because apparently he can get us back to 2023 in our universe.
Don't you have a key of time in the? Don't you have the key of time in the Ospreyverse to use the Eagleverse to use that? Don't you have that chap, the anachronic man?
We do have an anachronic man, but apparently he can't traversed to 1980. He's not here with us. I don't know whether he can cross dimensional barriers, to be fair. But we do have the key to time.
Why didn't you use that?
Because I don't know if it traverses dimensions.
But how did you travel to this? You did the watch. So you traveled to this dimension with a key of time, and you don't know if the key of time works, and you haven't tried it.
To both, no.
Okay. How about this then? He says. She says, bring us the key of time. We'll use it to get our team back, and then you can use it to go back to your time. If you use it to go back to your time if we use it to go back, my head hurts. If we use it to go back to, yes, we can use we can get to another dimension from this universe. So if we use it to go back to 1856 in this universe, we can step through to your universe, save the Kestrels, bring them back, and then we can then go forward, take you to 2023 in our universe, and then you can step through to your universe.
That sounds like a cracking idea. My name's Sally. What's yours? Nice to meet you, Jane. This is Vlad. This is Terry. We don't actually have a team name.
And she's Team Chaos.
We were the Cheapsters at one point.
Team Calamity. She starts. Oh yes, and that went well. She says, "Okay, I'm not sure if you've done any orientation in the Kestrelverse in our universe before. I guess you've seen the moon. From my understanding, these things are slightly different to your universe. There's, I guess, one or two major things that are noticeable. Obviously, you have in America, we don't. The Anderson Institute, my understanding of the records I've read in your world, didn't go too well. In our world, it's the premier superhero university. So, what Americans like?
I'll answer that with a question of my own first of all. Why haven't you got an America?
About 20, 30 years ago, an American scientist built a massive shield, a sort of force field that covered the whole of the USA, shutting it off from the rest of the world, effectively creating a homeland shield, they called it. Only as they did that and went along this isolationist policy, Yellowstone erupted on the inside. So it's a global, it's a kind of a catastrophic ecological disaster within that dome. The rest of the world's fine. I'm sure if the dome hadn't been there, we'd been trapped in an ever-ending winter. We'd all have to go and live in Africa, where it's warm. So they were both arrogant and unfortunate. Arrogant to believe this Homeland Shield could stop any attack from happening. At the same time, Mother Nature decided teach them a lesson.
It's actually quite horrible. But at least you haven't had Donald Trump.
I don't know who that is.
What is this?
It was Reagan. Reagan, I think, was the Reagan. He was the
He was
the
a barrel
president
of
at the time.
laughs compared with Donald Trump.
But the UK's empire was rebuilt, and now we are
Oh, that's
biggest empire on
interesting to
earth.
know.
We had to put down Russia. Obviously, Russia was got a bit too big for its boots. But we have superheroes, plenty. So we were in charge, I guess.
What is this yellow stone?
It's a super volcano. It's a giant caldera that erupted, causing, I guess, a massive pyroclastic flow that engulfed the dome. Whether anyone's still alive in there, nobody can go in.
Oh, so
We don't
nobody's
know.
been able to breach the force shield from outside then?
No, I mean, the Canadians and Mexicans shrugged their shoulders and went, never mind. And we just kind of moved
Well,
on
in
and
answer
forgot
to your
about them.
original question, Americans are pretty much arrogant and unfortunate.
Better off
There
below a
are some good
dome.
ones, but they're few and far between.
We can edit this out. It's fine. They're the ones with passports that have left. Yeah, so that's the kind of the major. You have to have some major differences, but that's it's just like the arrogance of we've built this homeland shield that can protect us from the rest of the world. There's a great scene in a Judge Dredd in Armageddon War, in the Armageddon War, Apocalypse War, where Russia, no, it's either Russia or America have a dome that stops it's America's a dome that stops the Russian nukes going in, but it actually transports them to another world. And there's a scene where the TADs, the total annihilation devices, hit the dome and vanish, and then this world of hippies, these nukes come in and destroy them all.
Oh dear.
Classic Apocalypse War.
Fair enough.
So that's the major, some of the major differences between the two. So okay, so it's just the two of us on duty. We are sort of the reserve squad. They're kind of you can sense there's a degree of nervousness. Like you've got the interns are in charge at the moment.
Yeah, I was starting to.
What code names do you use, by the way?
If I haven't got one yet. We haven't really don't really get assigned code names until you've graduated, and then it's a combination of your powers and what sounds good, unless you've picked up a nickname in the interim. But no, I've got light-based powers, and Clive here can make plants grow. And he goes, "Oh, all right, shut up. Shut up. All right, they don't need to know that. It's
Don't
quite
worry about
important."
that, Dryad. It's a good power.
Oh, Dryad. That could work. Let me write that down. And he
You're
writes
welcome.
down his hand. Dryad spells it wrong, but we'll go with that. So I can fill you in on the missing kestrels as if one of you can go and get the key of
MacLeod,
time.
would you like to oblige with the fetching and carrying for a second?
What am I fetching?
The key of time that's in the boot of the Jag. It's the Antikythera device.
Why not?
Thank you.
And we'll zip out and
So, but in the interim, your Eagle's nest, Eagle's rings, because they're based on kestrel ring technology, you can still talk to each other. So you can hear this as you're flying down at the Jag.
Right.
She says, okay, so the kestrels are made up of Aegis, Jack Hansen, Galton, Michael Mosley, Longbow, James Feathering Don. Lady Scorpion is Jane Dawson. The Pict is Peter Hatherington. And Tachyon, the wielder of the Key of Time, is Jacob Hoist.
Okie dokie.
So versions of anyone familiar with Shadow 5, versions of these characters with slightly different names, apart from Jacob Hoist, appear as members of the Shadow 5 team. They were she says, okay, Shadow 5 team from your universe was somehow thrown through time. There was an event. They were hunting for the Grail. Got trapped in time, but because, from our understanding, Morgan Le Fay's talk, which she was given by the Pen of Noon, the king of the underworld, the king of Anoon, because it existed in 2 points of time. It was there at Queen Victoria's, at your Queen Victoria's anniversary, because they touched that locked out time for people to go back there. That you can't go back to whatever year it was, 1899, but it threw the team back through time. It appears they jumped a number of times, and the information's sketchy. But there was something happened in Morless Castle in Merthyr Tydfil, and then the team were taken to the Athenaeum Club in London and were held in a Faraday cage whilst they're trying to work out what was wrong with them. But that event caused our team that were there trying to figure out what the anomaly was to be trapped in Trevethic's workshop in a mirror, and that's as far as the information I've got goes with that. Really, it's sketchy because it's 100-year-old data, but
I wonder if it's a mirror of Charlotte then.
oh,
no. Mirrors of Charlotte are two-way. The only way for it to be a mirror of Charlotte is if the other doorways. Actually, no, there could be. If they. No, they're trapped there, so they should be able to get out. So, if I'm speculating here, because I studied this a little bit at the Institute, but not in great depth. But a mirror of Charlotte is a two-way mirror. You step into the mirror and then you step out the other side. So you would need to step into the mirror, have the other side smashed, and then be unable to get out of the mirror to be trapped in it. Or a mirrorverse prison, maybe? I don't know. I guess smashing the mirror would release them.
right.
Or would it trap them?
Do we,
Because there's no key. I don't know. I'm speculating. She says.
do we know how many mirrors?
I don't think we've ever been
made?
given numbers, but there was quite a few from the sounds of it.
No, hundreds, if not. They're all aspects of the Mirrorverse that Dionysus existed in.
Yeah,
Ancient Greek god, Roman god, Greek god. He died and was brought back by his mother, I believe. His son, Zagreus, wanders the earth as an immortal being who, well, we call him Zagreus. I'm not sure. The myths, I think you might call him Lancelot. But we don't call them Mirrors of Shalott here. We call them Mirrors of Rhea.
Yeah.
Rhea. She is linked to
I'm sure
Dionysus.
he's a flightless bird. Well, I'm as stuck as you in terms of how they are trapped and how effectively to release them from a mirror. I'm sure we'll figure something out eventually.
At the very least, you could bring the mirror back here.
What's that? What you saying, Terry?
No, I think I've lost Derry again.
Still there.
Sorted. It sounded like you were being throttled.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just my knees playing up.
Kestrel. But you're choking to death a kestrel with a kestrel with a fruit pastel. Classic Frankie Boyle joke.
So Vlod's returned.
So, Mercury Man has returned with the key of time, and you're standing in the kestrel nest. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh, here is. I'll present the.
Does anybody have a clue how to set this to 1856?
Which is the one guy goes, I know I'm only good with plants, but I guess if we turn this dial back, it's got these numbers on. That says 1856. That says October, and that says the 14th. So I guess you just push that button. It's not like I guess I haven't read up on this, but I guess you've either got to hold hands or stand within the time bubble. It's not like the grandfather clock. You've simply got to.
So Rod's going to assess what he's suggesting in terms of like configuring the device, and just does it make sense to him? Does it seem logical?
You set it to a time and then push the button, and looking at it, you think it makes more sense if you stand close enough so it creates a time bubble, which then will draw you through time because there's no handles on it. And at no point there's been any indication it's a single person device. It's not like you where it's a backpack or anything.
Yeah.
You think it creates a time bubble around you.
What I meant was that he set it correctly.
Yeah. So it looks like it's 1856 October and the year. And he says, I think you just need, whilst the time set, in terms of location, you need to think of where you want to go. He says, he turns to the guy, goes, you'll have to go with him because you have the dimension device.
Who's got what now?
So the dimension device. So she says, yes, I've got the D jump, and looks like a it looks like a what's it called, a microphone, a telephone, a conference call phone that sits on desks in the 80s. She picks it up. She goes, yes, I can get you to. We can get you to the Eagleverse.
Good.
If you're ready.
Is Terry ready to be parted from his
I'm
Mark
ready.
II Jag?
Push the button. It's like the third car is lost in time and space. So there's it creates a bubble, and it's like the scene is X-Men 3. The bubble comes over the what's her name? The lady, the Statue of Liberty. It kind of evolves and it creates a kind of 6 foot bubble, 6 foot, 8 foot bubble around the device, which you're all standing in, and it goes pop. And pop, you're back in 1856 in the Kestrelverse near Trevethic's workshop. And she says, okay, if you're ready, and she turns the dial of the machine she has in her hand, a doorway opens up, and it looks like almost as if you're holding a mirror up to where you are. You can see Trevethic's workshop is in both places. And you step through back into the Eagleverse, but you're in 1856.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been quite a wild ride.
I would say I'm glad to be home, but a universe without America, that's quite appealing.
So, I know. You're like, could I? I don't see there's a downside. And it's their own fault for dropping a nuke on the moon. So, Trevethic's workshop is sitting behind. At this time, it's you're behind a hedge, looking very much like Bill and Ted. You're kind of looking through a hedge, and you can see people mulling around by the river. Everyone's wearing. It's weird. You can see everyone's wearing classic Victorian working class clothes, but it's all in colour. You've only ever seen these in black and white. You didn't realise actually it's quite colourful, the Victorian era. I mean, there's still a dirty, stinking black cloud from Dowless Ironworks, and the whole place stinks, and you could taste the coal and the furnaces in your lungs. It's that taste is not going to go away soon.
Okay, so do we know where we have to go?
Somewhere
inside Trevethic's workshop. Somewhere.
Dowless Ironworks or something.
Yep, Trevethic's. Yes, because Trevethic's a Cornishman, but he was brought to Merthyr to do stuff, and he built the little train, Trevethic's engine, not the rocket, the other one. So, making your way into Trevethic's workshop. Everyone kind of turns and stares at you, because you are wearing kind of, to them, really garish clothing. You got a guy dressed in silver. I'm assuming your
More than
Vixen's wearing
likely, I
trousers
think,
rather
yeah,
than
given
skirts.
her career.
Which you get, that's like really bad. They're kind of staring at you as if you've taken a shit on their mum's head. Women wearing trousers,
Absolutely.
it's unheard of, really uncouth. And in a rather broad, strong Valais accent, which I won't attempt to do because despite living there 9 years, I can't do a Welsh accent. So essentially he's going, boyo, what do you want? But so you're catching most of what he's saying, but he's using kind of euphemisms and colloquialisms of, partial Welsh, but English as well. So this guy's carrying a rather large spanner, and he's kind of essentially saying, what do you want? Who are you?
Yes, and we're after Trevithick.
Did Crawshay sent you? Well, he's down to work. Oh, that's Northern. He's down the way. He's down to. Well, okay, they're going to be Yorkshiremen. He's down to workshop, boyo. A spatty Gwyneth. That's all I've got.
Go on.
Oh, I do know. I do know a terrible Welsh joke. I was in the taxi driving from Merthyr to Cardiff, and I cleared my throat, and the guy goes, "Oh, I was brought up around there."
Brilliant. Brilliant.
My wife hates that joke. My wife's
we've all
Welsh,
got
so she hates that
problems.
joke. She doesn't find it funny at all. I'm still laughing. So, Trevethic's workshop. There's steps going down, and it kind of goes back into the mountain. And there's a large furnace room with there's a furnace, lots of old-looking, whilst they're brand new, old-looking machines that are steam-powered. Looking around, you can see in the far right-hand corner there is something covered in it. There's a sheet covering something it jumps out as being potentially a mirror. It kind of looks, and there's a Cornishman, Trevithick, in Cornish. Can't do Cornish. They should all be English because they can't do accents. It says, "What can who do I owe the pleasure?"
I do apologise. My name is Dr. Sally Blake.
I'm sorry. I was talking to your man there. It totally ignores you. Points to Diamond Geezer because Vlod's looking very silver, and
at least Terry's about the same height as Trevithick.
She doesn't want to deal with that. Yeah.
Yes.
You, sir. Please ask your lady servant to be quiet. What? How can I help you? What have you come to my establishment for?
So who we're looking for again? We're looking for
the mirror.
Mirror.
A mirror. The mirror. Because the mirror. How do you know about the mirror?
No. You know about. We know we have used them Did you call? Sorry, what did you call the mirror before?
It's not a mirror. You're not totally sure whether it's a mirror slot, but it's a mirror with these guys trapped in it. But he says, "What do you know about the mirror?"
No, we know that there are. We seek people trapped within.
This thing turned up in my workshop several days ago. It wasn't there beforehand, and now there's ghosts trapped in the mirror. Weird-looking ghosts.
Can you tell us
Which is
how
why
it
we put the
arrived
sheet
in
over
your
it.
workshop, Mr. Trevithick?
No, it just appeared. But take it. You just take the thing, and you can have it. It's putting people off coming down here, which is why we put
Very
the sheet
gracious
over
of
it.
you. Thank you. We will do just that.
I think we will. Thank you.
So you're gonna just let's carry the
One
mirror
thing,
up and
Mr.
leave.
Trevithick.
And the
Next time a lady
yes,
enters your workshop, just think that Her Majesty Queen Victoria may have sent her here. Okay.
there are only two ladies allowed in my workshop. They are Charlotte Guest, Lady Charlotte Guest, my apologies, and, as Babbage called her,
Be
the
that as it
Enchantress
may,
of Numbers.
a little bit of respect wouldn't go amiss. You do that.
I'll bear that in mind.
He's pushing
Man.
this guy's starting to push my buttons.
We don't want any trouble, Terry.
Now, if you could take this, don't kill one of the inventors of the steam train. So he said, take the mirror and go. It is a anathema to us. It's scaring the natives. They are a superstitious bunch. These Welsh.
Can I carry? I'll pick up the mirror and carry it if I can.
It just looks like it's a kind of a standard dressing mirror.
Yeah.
A moment later, you find yourself standing at the front of Trevithick's workshop, carrying a mirror with a sheet over it. She says that this could work if we find somewhere to take this back to our dimension, and then we can go back to our time zone. I'm sure we can find a means to open the mirror.
Well, it sounds all right to me.
Or release them. So, behind Trevithick's workshop, there is a hedge and a small grass area where you emerged last time. Standing close by, she turns the dial of the D-jump, and you kind of pop from one universe to another universe. She dials back on the key of time to the exact time and location where you were. You hit the button, pop. You pop again, and you arrive back in the Kestrel's nest.
Box of tricks.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
However, that level of pops, Flod, you accidentally drop the mirror. As it shatters, there's an almighty kind of that sound of an explosion. The moments after explosion, where your ears go pop and you can't hear a thing, and that loud whistling sound. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 members of the Kestrels kind of arise out of the broken mirror and start shaking and collapsing. And they've obviously been trapped in this mirror for a long time, but the effect of being trapped there is having a physical effect on them. Apart from the guy in the yellow suit, who has a big T on his costume.
Sorry,
He says thank you
a big
for big T on his costume.
We are assuming, yeah.
You're assuming it's Tachyon. He says, I guess thanks are in order. How did you know we were there? And the two, the plant guy and the girl, sort of rambling and spouting off about the watchmaker, and where's he gone? The watchmaker, and him finding out that they were trapped in the wrong universe, and just kind of babbling on. And he's, oh, slow down. The ambassador told you this. Yes. The watchmaker. Okay. That's interesting. I assumed he wouldn't help us. He's an orphan, so that's good. That's good of him. We owe him. Yes, he's a watchmaker, but he is also an orphan. I guess in addition to the ambassador, I'm in your debt. Is there anything that we can do to assist you, to help
Well,
you
you
to,
should
you know, as
mention
a
that.
payment?
It's Mr. Tachyon or Tachyon.
Yes. Just Tachyon.
Yes, it's,
Mr. Tachyon to my enemies.
pleased to meet you.
And pleased to meet you, Mr. Silver Guy.
They call me Mercury Man.
Mercury Man. That sounds quite cool. So,
We were.
how can we assist you? Because at this point, she hasn't mentioned that you're from a different dimension.
We just want to
Right,
go
well,
home.
where do we begin, chaps? We need to get back to 2023, was it?
Yes. 22. Oh, so then the kids start butting in and kind of add bits of what you said and kind of fill in all the gaps that you've kind of missed out on and the bits that they've taken up. Okay, so you're trapped here because there's a I knew about the time prison. We always kind of left it alone because it seemed as if it was probably a good idea not to mess around with such a simple time trap. Time Lord, I believe it was, did quite a good job with that. It's simplistic, really simple, but even so yes, I can take you. Well, you can take yourself. You've got a key of time. You could actually just use that to go forward. That works in all universes. You could simply use that to go forward in time. Now that you're here, but you just then need to get a D jump to come across. So,
A D jump. That's like
a dimension jump. So either you go forward and speak to a watchmaker and get them to take you across, or I'll tell you what. This will be easier. He puts his hand out, and Jane hands him the device that she used. So I'll come with you to the future, and then I can set you through
That would
back
be
to
a great help.
Okay.
2023. Okay, so he messes around with the dials really quickly, as if he's done this 1,000 times, like he knows what he's doing. He says it's funny to see the key of time, this key of time. I'm at one with my key of time in this universe. However, this one is clockwork device. You know you've got a limited time with this thing. At some point, it makes one final jump, and that'll go back to
It was explained
shipwreck
to us.
off the island
What
of
wasn't explained to us is when.
But nobody knows when that final jump is. I don't know. Nobody knows. That's the oddity with this thing. That's the danger of using this thing.
Well, hopefully we
too
won't need
often.
to use it very often, if at all, once we get home. But that remains to be seen.
I guess what you could do to save the universe, to save the anomalous stuff that this thing can do, is when we make that final jump and you get to your universe, if you set the dial, let me get a bit of paper. So he kind of, as he's still talking, but he goes to a nearby desk, pulls out a piece of paper and a pen, and he writes 3 coordinates on it. He says, if you set it back to this coordinate, then you will send it back to 1909 off the coast of Antikythera, and its time, its journeys, it's come to journey's end.
Yes,
So, are you ready to go back to the future?
Let's go.
So each of you give him that look, and he has no idea what because he's just said it as as offhand, was just go back to the future, and you were like, oh yes, we're going back. Yes. That's so cool. Just doesn't understand why they're cool. So jump forward in time in the Kesher universe to 2023. He opens the dimensional doorway, and it says,
Thank you very much.
Godspeed.
I step through.
You step through, and he flings back. I think that's probably a good moment to end, as you've stepped into 2023, back to where you left.
Excellent.
Good stuff, boys. Good
Yeah, so
stuff.
that's a good place to leave it there.
Indeed.
Wanted
was
just.
quite a
Fantastic,
quite a
Kevin.
roller
Thank you very
coaster
much indeed, mate.
today.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Enjoyed that.
Indeed.
So the Kestrels have been trapped out in the mirror.
Yeah.
The Kestrels have been trapped out in the mirror for at least 10,
Still haven't
15
left
years.
them, freed them though, have we?
Shadow 5.
Yeah, when the mirror smashed, yeah.
Yes, you have to.
They were
They're coming
released.
forward in time,
Yeah.
smash the mirror, and they're free.
Oh, don't apologise.
Yeah, I dropped. Sorry, I dropped it.
Look at
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But now you've got to get another car. You've got to steal another car because you don't know where you're going to come out. You're going to come out.
I'm sure it'll be
Yep.
fine.
It'll be fun. We'll figure it out. So, let's just